Hey everyone, on this week's episode of Golden Key Design, we're going to be tackling the shoe molding. The first step in the process is pre-painting the boards. It's a lot easier to do this before they're installed. We had torn out the previous quarter round in order to install our new flooring, so we had to go back and scrape away the old caulk. Once your boards are cut, it's time to start nailing. And when you need to lap two pieces, it's best to do so with a 45-degree angle. Some previous nails were still sticking out from the wall, so I used a nail setter to recess those. Now I was finally able to install the T-molding for the flooring transitions, and it's quite satisfying. Once all the shoe molding is installed, you can go back and caulk all of your seams. I come back with a wet finger to smooth out the bead. Alright guys, here I wanted to show you the power of caulk, which some of you may already know. However, let's see what we got here. Take your finger. Boom! That's all it takes. Now it's time to fill all those nail holes. Alright, so here we got two different nail holes that I'm about to fill. Get some hair out of here. We got one here and one here. Now, normally you would use a spackle knife just like this to put on spackle. In this case, we're using some Drydex. And so normally you'd use that and you'd just go in right here, but as you can see, it's pretty tight. And also this is a quarter round shoe molding, so it's a curve, and so this is obviously a straight line. So when you get in here, I'll show you, it's a little bit tricky to kind of squeeze it in there, and then you're left with a hole that's not exactly filled, and then there's a bunch of material everywhere. And I purposely didn't do it like that. I'm honestly trying pretty hard. So in this case, what's a lot easier, but kind of gets a little bit dirty, is just putting a little bit on your finger, kind of pushing it down into the hole. You're gonna have some excess, so just get it in there. And then come back with the clean finger. You can use a wet rag like this to dry your finger off. Then come back with the wet finger and then just swipe it by. And then you really don't have any cleanup to do either, because normally with this stuff, you leave it slightly proud of the surface, then come back with a wet rag and wipe it down flush. However, with this, you can just use your hand as that rag, and you're left with a clean line. This will dry white, and if you're lazy, you can honestly just leave it like that. It'll dry white, you'll never see it, but I'm gonna come back and paint, because as you can see here, there's some painting that needs to be done because of this caulking, but in some cases you could just leave that and you wouldn't even see it. So, just keep an eye out. Once the caulk and spackle are dry, you can go back and paint everything. And most of this is just touch-up work since you painted the majority of the board previously. And that's a wrap on this project. I think that turned out really well. You'd be surprised how much a little piece of trim can really finish off a room. And here's a picture of our media center. If you want to check out that video, I'll link it up in the top right corner. You can go and check out. It's a 3-part series. Really proud of that one. We also have an Instagram and TikTok if you want to follow along for more updates. Thanks. Happy building.